evening, Vadim. Thank you very much for that beautiful present, that premium vodka. I feel humbled that I receive one of Russia's best bottles of vodka, so I'm sure I'll try it out at Christmas and I'll tell you all about it when you return. So Vadim, as promised, I just want to run through a few tips that we talked about as we started our training a few weeks ago. If you remember, we started with the stick. And basically this is giving you the feeling what the body needs to do throughout the swing. So remember, from short shots to transport shots to tee shots, this particular movement will always be a part of your swing. Therefore, if you can take note and if you watch the players on YouTube, watch how beautifully they clear their left side and use their right side to push. And even if they have little shots, just 10 meters or even shorter, how they beautifully open that left side. And that's very, very important. And most amateurs tend to quit here or stop the body on these, particularly these short shots, because they think the ball will go too far. And by the longer shots, what tends to happen is basically the hands and arms become too dominant and the body also stops, and basically you react or compensate with your hands and arms. So in this particular video, I'm going to demonstrate what is the responsibility for the body and what is the responsibility for the hands and arms and the club itself. So if we start with the body, I place this stick behind me. I like to, you can see these arrows are on my left hip, my left shoulder, my right knee. And basically what I like to do in the setup, and we talked about this, I like to create some ground pressure also when I start. So I'm not stiff, don't misunderstand me, but I really try to create some athleticism, and just like any great sports player, you know, that they can move quickly or they can create a jump because they're creating pressure into the ground. And that's very important for golf. So basically in my setup, I have some static pressure in the ground. I get my body centered, which I'll come back to later. And basically in the backswing, I like to feel I use my right side to wind up. So my right side of the body helps me build up pressure. As you can see, my knees and feet are holding against the turn of the hip and the shoulder. And so basically what we try to understand is, as you can see, the stick, when I move back, stays on one level. So I'm not going up and down. That is not so good. So I also try to do that, Vadim, in the backswing. I try to keep my hips very level. And that's very important that we can get the club in a great position, which I'll explain later. So basically this is how we started. My hands are on my thighs. I wind up pressure, and basically in slow motion I want to see how the arrows move. You see how the ball still stays up, and as I open the left side, the ball will come down after the ball. And that would be perfect sequencing. So basically what we try to avoid is that the ball comes down too early, where my weight stays back, or I use my body excessively in the downswing, so the ball comes down also too early. So as you can, if you just watch the arrows, you can see this beautiful sequencing of what actually happens, how the body slowly comes back into position. The left side opens, the right side fires. And I do that now with a little bit more dynamic. And so now you see the weight is on my left heel, my body's completely open, my right side is pointing to the target. So that's very important. Notice when I swing to the camera, I'll just do it from here. So you can see basically I go boom, open my left side. If I'm coming from here, you can see I stay very level, Vadim. And now look at the sequencing. Look, my left side opens, right side comes, ball comes down. And here we go with a little bit more dynamic. You can see how I'm standing with pressure on my left heel. Okay, buddy, this is the first part.